it just gives me a foundation to know what I'm going to do every single time. That way I'm not in a house wondering what I'm going to say, right? Every personality is different. There's about 10 of them, right? Once you figure out different personalities, you learn how to deal with that person, right? But as far as what you're going to say in the beginning, it needs to be the same every single time because it's going to keep you on track. If they are a heavy talker, if they're talking a lot, you can engage with them. But if you know your script, if you know how to set it up, you know what you're going to say in the beginning, you can get right back on track. So whatever you use it every single time and get really good at it, because that's what's going to keep you grounded in the beginning, knowing what to do. You need to be a machine. You need to say the exact same things in every house. The way you handle people needs to be that you're very comfortable with them already. And the power of assumption is very powerful. So if you assume that that person is going to like you and to do business with you beforehand, that comes off that way, right? People can only respond to you the way that you act toward them. You give them no other choice. So if you act timid and unsure and afraid, the only way people can respond to you is by treating you as such. They treat you with caution, right? But if you assume and you believe that people are going to like you, do business with you, and help you, right, and let you help them, you give them no other option but to treat you with confidence and assurity, okay? So I would suggest a book by Deborah Fine, okay? It's called The Art of Small Talk by Deborah Fine. This will really help you just small talk with people. It'll give you different concepts on how to do it. It's helped me, and I suggest this book to you, okay? So when I'm building rapport, what I'm doing is I'm just asking them basic questions, okay? I'm just getting to know them, right? So when I sit down with somebody, even on a webinar, I'm just like, hey, so I hope you guys got enough toilet paper. Y'all got enough toilet paper? And then we laugh. Use humor, right? Just be yourself. Use your personality. Just be yourself. It's going to take people's walls down. But here's a big thing that I do with people before I really even get into it. I say, hey, let me tell you something. I'm going to talk to you like I was sitting right at your table, because typically I would be. And I'm going to treat you like you were my family, okay? If this doesn't make sense for you guys, it's going to be really obvious, and we're not even going to look at it. And I mean that. If it does make sense, I'll do my best to help you. Is that fair? And they agree. And now I got their walls down, right? They know that I'm not trying to sell them anything, because I'm not, right? I'm trying to see if something makes sense for them. So then once they say, okay, they really open up a good bit. So doing that in the beginning is important, because it's going to set the stage of, hey, this guy actually genuinely wants to help us, right? So when I'm building rapport, I'm talking to them about their kids. I'm talking to them about their jobs. I'm talking to them about their home. I say, so, did you guys just move in here? Did you refinance? They're going to tell me. I would say, well, congratulations. Do you guys plan on moving at all again? They're like, no, this is it. I'm like, man, listen, I can appreciate that. Moving's a lot. It really is strenuous. So I can definitely appreciate what you're saying. And you just talk to them like they were your neighbor. You talk to them like you wouldn't, like, okay, so if, like, don't have the mindset of you're going to sell them a product, because it's going to freeze you up. So talk to them like you were just talking to a neighbor, and get to know your neighbor when you just moved in. It's that natural. Learn to be that natural. That book will help. Build rapport. Some people take longer than others. If they're sitting there with like this, it may take you a little bit. It may take a little bit more talking to them and getting those walls down. But when you see their body language open up, and when you see them getting more comfortable, you know that you form that connection, right? If you have kids, talk to them and connect that way. If you like Legos, whatever, talk to them, and if they like Legos, connect with them. Find something in their house or about them, or something they say, that you genuinely can express interest in, and it be genuine, because they're going to perceive that, genuineness, right? And then connect with them that way, right? Y'all know how to connect with people. Just naturally connect with these people. Once you build rapport, okay, you're going to move on to step 2. Step 2 is the transition into the intro of what you're actually going to do in that appointment. This is very important, because what this does is this gives them the expectation, and you set the bar of what you're going to do, right? You can eliminate a lot of objections on the front end with the right transition, okay? Here's exactly my transition word for word. I encourage you to go back and watch this recording. That's why these are going to be so powerful, is because you're going to have access to them. And it's our sales system. I believe we have the best in the business, and I'm not lying. So what I do is I say, guys, listen, were you basically trying to make sure if something happens to you that this house was covered? Is that what you're trying to do? And I'll shake my head yes with it. And they'll say, well, yeah, right? That's going to tell you a lot about how that appointment's going to go right there. So what I'll say is, okay, so you guys were basically trying to pay your house off if something happens to you, right? And if they say yes, okay, I know what they want. If they give me any grief, I'm going to go ahead and get that taken care of immediately before I even waste my time with them, right? If they say, well, I don't know, I'm like, well, why'd you fill this out? Well, I just wanted to see. I said, well, typically, and let me say this to you, because I told you I'm going to talk to you like you were my own family. Typically, people don't fill this thing out and lick that nasty envelope to have a good time. Usually, you know, I'm acting assumptive here, but usually they fill that out because they want to make sure if something happens to them that their family's protected. Is that what you are wanting? You have to make them answer you yes before you move on. Because if they don't answer yes, they're going to have reservations about what you're talking to them about. Get them to say, yes, this is what I want, before you even start. So were you trying to make sure if something happened to you, your family's taken care of? Yes. Okay, perfect. Here's how it works. Okay, the banks aren't licensed to offer this coverage. So what they do is they outsource it to these big billion-dollar life insurance companies. I'm sure you heard of Mutual of Omaha, Transamerica. Okay, listen, I'm with about 20 different A-rated carriers. They're the ones that back the mortgage protection, which is good because they got the money to pay if something happens, right? So I'm a broker. I'm with about 20 of them. So what I'm going to do based on what you qualify for, I'm going to shop them around for you, and I'll find you the best rate out there, okay? Because you close on a loan, there's a window that opens up for this type of coverage. It's a small window, and it saves you from jumping through the hoops of having to give blood, pee in a cup, see a nurse, anything like that. And when I'm doing a webinar, I say that's why I'm able to just verify that it's you over a computer screen, because you don't have to give any DNA, right? Now, it is a regulated policy by the state. It's a real policy, so you do have to qualify. And there's 3 things that they're going to look at for you to qualify, okay? It's going to be prescription check, make sure we're not on anything too high risk, right? Your motor vehicle report, make sure you ain't been out there drag racing, right? Get them laughing, you know, or no DUIs, you know, risky stuff. And then the last thing they look for is going to be your MIB, and that's a fancy acronym for Medical Information Bureau. That's going to show any declines for life insurance because of health, okay? So it's a very simple process, all right? It's 3 things. Now, here's how this works. What your job is to do today is to design this however you want. You can go with whatever company you want. You can set it up however you want. That's up to you. That's your job, okay? These policies are like a box. The underwriting's like a box. If I can squeeze you in the box, if you can barely squeeze in the box, you know, even if it's barely, they'll take it. So your job is to find the box that you want. My job is to see if we can fit you in that box, okay? Once you design something, okay, and I know if, you know, I see we have a shot at getting approved, we're going to put a request for coverage in, okay? That takes about a week or 2 while they underwrite you. So there's nothing we really can do today in full. We don't even know if you can get approved. So obviously you wouldn't pay anything today. Okay, you never pay me either way. That's between you and the insurance company. But if you do get approved, you can set it up with them however you want, okay? Now, before I get into anything, what I want to do, most important, see if this even makes sense. Because we'll know really fast and it'll be obvious, okay? If it does make sense, what's going to be our best fit? Is that fair? And then I shake my head and they say, yeah, that's fair. That's it, word for word, Nate.
I love that. So I love that. You're constantly putting it back on them. They're the ones trying to design this. Christian his job is just the underwriting side. So I'll do my job, figure out who has the best rate, and then how much you pay, when you pay, all of that. That's their department. You know, it doesn't matter to us. We'll help them do whatever we want, whatever they want.
You know, I'll say this, Nate. I think it's important to just use something, right? So yeah. I've given you what works for me, everybody, okay? I can go out and produce high every week. I use that script. It just gives me a foundation to know what I'm going to do every single time. That way I'm not in a house wondering what I'm going to say, right? You need to say the same thing, the same jokes. You need to be a good actor. right? But the work is learning it in the beginning, getting good at it. Once you get good at it, you're just doing the same thing every single time. Does that make sense, Nate? I'd be curious to know what you think about that.
No, I think that's the shortcut to confidence. I mean, there's no way that you can rush out and get experience, enough experience to get your confidence to be able to speak confidently. But this gives you a way to do that. Taking this intro and transition script and just making it, first memorize it to where you can say it, then internalize it to where it's so deeply in you that if something throws you off, you can still complete it because you know where the next step is, and then personalize it like Christian's done. His isn't exactly, word for word what I say, but it started out that way. And then now it just, it's been personalized. So I'm going to touch on a couple of things with them, find some common ground, and then my transition is always the same. How long have you guys lived here? So that's going to transition more into business mode. It's going to tell me if they just recently refinanced the house. It might be their first home to ever purchase. They might have been renting all their life. We don't know. We're just going to start, figuring those things out. And this is exactly what I go through with them. So I'll just talk to you, Christian, like you're sitting here with me. So Christian, is this your first house to purchase?
It is, yeah.
Okay, very good. Well, hey, congratulations on being a homeowner. So Christian, anytime that you purchase a new home, or if you ever do a refinance, the window opens to be able to set up this type of coverage without having to do blood work or physical exams or anything like that. The banks and the mortgage lenders are not licensed to offer that. So they actually have to outsource that coverage, or they would just do it at closing. So they outsource that coverage to the big insurance companies. Most companies have programs specifically designed for this, but they all have different criteria for who they will or who they won't approve based on previous health history, prescriptions, age, height, weight, that sort of thing. So my job is strictly the underwriting side of all of this, just to make sure whatever you guys are trying to design, that you're actually eligible to even request that from an underwriting standpoint. Okay, so it's not anything we can really make a complete decision on right this second because we don't know for sure if they'll even approve you. I'm just going to kind of get a snapshot of everything so I can narrow down from 30 different companies down to 2 or 3 that I could probably sign off on for you and figure out who has the best rate. Once we figure out who has the best rate, you can take that and design whatever you want from there, and I'll do everything I can to help you accomplish whatever it is you need me to help you with. So, and I basically get an affirmative from them. Is that fair? Fair enough, or does that sound good? So I'm getting permission. Not only am I telling them everything that's about to happen, I'm getting permission to, go through the health questionnaire, to take the application, right from the beginning. We're taking out a lot of objections there. People that want to shop around. We are shopping around during this process. I mean, you can show them quotes from 30 different companies, or you can show them the quote, from the lowest company. Most people only want to see the lowest one or whatever is, right for them. They don't want to look at everything. So, you by telling them that up front, by being very clear, very specific, very factual, like everything that you're saying is a matter of a fact. It's very, very factual. So say it with confidence because it's exactly how it works. It's just kind of dumbed down to non-insurance lingo to where you can go ahead and start establishing a connection and being credible. So you're establishing credibility all the time as you're going through this, which is important because hey, you're about to get somebody's banking information over a Zoom call. So I mean, connect with them. It's okay to joke around and connect with them, but you don't want to be only joking because this is serious. So I think one of the most powerful things is going to be for you, is these webinars that we're doing. I'm about to open it up for questions to where you can get your questions specifically answered, know where your slack in. But we're going to have these calls in different, broke down into different videos. So each step of the sale, if you are messing it up during the rapport building stage or the intro as you are transitioning, but then you can always use this very recording as a tool to go back and fix that part. Next week we're going to talk about how to fill out the client worksheet properly, how to draw out the options for them, how to close. We're going to be going through each step broke down like this, being able to open it up for questions so you can go back and access. And eventually it's like, all right, well, I got my rapport down. I got my transition down. I'm just screwing it up, finding the why or finding the need. Whatever that is, we're going to have broke down into separate categories to where you can go specifically, spend time on the next step that you need to strengthen your game. So if you have any questions for me or Christian or David Begley's on here, anything that, before we go, I want to make sure we're being specific to your business. If there's one thing that you feel like would help you more than anything, be more profitable, write more business this week, now's your chance to ask that in a small group setting. So I'm going to allow you to unmute yourself, and anybody that has any questions, feel free to fire away, my friend.
Christian, how many appointments are you booking every week for the virtual appointments?
Okay, so this is a big topic, and this is very important. Activity is king, and the way that you guarantee your success is by just piling on a bunch of appointments. That's the only way in this business. If you're running 2 or 3 or 4 appointments, your feelings are going to be hurt because you may only make one sale and it may not get approved, or you may not make any sales, okay? The way to keep from having your feelings hurt in this business is with massive activity. What massive activity does is everything rolls right off. If I have 20 appointments and I get 5 no-shows, who cares? I got a lot of more appointments, right? But if I have 7 appointments and I get 4 no-shows, that's tough. That's tough to swallow. And I've been there, okay? When I made the commitment to up my activity, put it on an elite level, that's when my pay started being elite. That's when I got elite in skills in this business, okay? But as far as my numbers, when the first week I started doing, when I'm out in the field working, I'm running 15 appointments. I'm setting 15 appointments, okay? I'll probably sit with 11 or 12 of them, okay? But I'm setting 15 at least, okay? On these webinars, I'm setting more because the no-show rate's a little higher, okay? Because I'm not showing up at their house and knocking on their door, okay? They can easily not answer a phone more than answer the door, okay? They don't feel as bad about it. So I'm setting 20 appointments, right? First week I set 16 and I was able to get 10 webinars out of that, 7 sales. Last week I set 23 and I got 9 webinars and 9 sales, okay? This week I set 18 appointments. I was able to run 7 webinars and 8 webinars and I got 11 apps, okay? So once you get them on the webinar, the system that we have makes you very efficient in converting those to applications. But you need to pad yourself with activity. And a lot of you are going to get licensed once this whole thing's over, so the webinar sales isn't going to matter, but the sales system works the exact same. We're just using it virtually because we're not going to sit with people face to face. So if you're doing webinar sales right now and you're licensed, like I know Pete is, you need to be booking 8 appointments a day. I work for 3 days, sometimes 4. I'd be working a day if I hadn't hit good numbers this week, but I'll hit 8 or 9 appointments a day. So I don't care if I got to be on the phone for 8 hours the day before setting my appointments for the next day. I'm booking 8. And it's very important to know what you're going to do before you start. That way you can't let yourself off the hook by not doing it, right? If you say, hey, I'm going to run 8 appointments tomorrow, come hell or high water, you better have those 8 appointments. Because let me tell you, if you don't, your self-esteem starts to erode. And what happens is it starts affecting other areas of your life. Now, we're getting more than just insurance talk right now, but this is serious, because when you don't do what you say you're going to do, even if it's little, and you don't finish, you'll never respect yourself. And that's just how it is. But the more you do it, the more you start compounding that self-confidence. And the higher your self-esteem goes. And that starts compounded and spreading into other areas of your life, okay? But as far as activity goes, man, just do a lot. There's no way around it, okay? Let me say this before I pass it back to Nate. This business is great because you can go out and you can make money on your own time, on your own pen, and have freedom and not have somebody's thumb on you telling you when to take lunch and when to come back, right? Or writing you a paycheck for what you think you're worth. This business is great for that reason, okay? You can go out, make a multi-six-figure income selling insurance with a lead-driven insurance system we got, okay? But that's not what gets me out of bed in the morning, okay? I've talked to a lot of y'all on this call. What gets me out of bed in the morning is the opportunity to build something that's mine. The opportunity to go out and build something great to where I don't have to sell insurance forever. You need to ask yourself this question. Do I want to be an insurance salesman forever? There's worse jobs, trust me. It's not the worst job. If you choose yes, Equus is built for everybody. Don't misunderstand that. If you want to go out and sell insurance, it's better than digging ditches. You get paid a lot more, okay? You keep your hands dirty, clean. But if you want to build a business, we can show you how to be very profitable in selling insurance to pay your bills, control your income, control your schedule, have that quality life that you want. We can teach you how to do that. At the same time, we can help you expand your reach with distribution for these insurance carriers by helping you hire people and train them, right? So if you're looking to build a team, I would encourage you to get with your manager and just have them help you start talking to people about this business and explaining it to them. And if the ones that are in and want to do it, we'll start building your team immediately while at the same time teaching you how to be profitable making sales, okay? So I just wanted to throw that in there before I passed it to you, Nate.
Thank you, Christian. Okay, I dropped a couple more resources in the comment section. So we're going to deep dive more into this, but I wanted you to go ahead and have it. I would start saving everything, like I have one folder. This is just the nuts and bolts type thing, basic stuff, but I've got a folder that says webinar on it. So when I'm on with someone and I want to share something, I have everything right here where I can find it. I can pop it up in my in my screen if I'm sharing the screen with them, like my Tennessee insurance license, okay, or the term grids. So if someone tells me they have diabetes, you can pop down here and look at, okay, well, here's the companies and here's how they feel about, someone with diabetes. So there's a term grid and this is the final expense grid, which, hey, some of these ages have already changed. Trans America is not taking anybody over 75 years old, which is crazy because they've always taken people up to age 85 years old. So there are changes already happening that we don't know if they're ever going to change back. They won't even look at anybody over the age of 75 now due to the virus. There's going to be more changes happening. That's why we need to be doing everything that we can to get to everyone before that happens, before any rate increases happen. Anybody that we get approved now is going to be good to go. So in the resources here, both of your grids, that's why it's good to figure out what you're going to write somebody and then ask us, you still want to verify, especially if you're new, but look at the grid first and you have an idea and say, hey, Christian, this is the situation. I was thinking foresters. Is that right? We'll confirm, it's good for you. We want you to be thinking and trying to figure it out yourself. We're going to make sure you don't write the wrong thing. We're going to make sure that you get paid fast, that you get approved and all of that. But I love to see you behind the scenes kind of, calling the shot on that. And that way we're just affirming if it's correct or not, and we'll put you, in the best possible situation we can. So you have the final expense grid and you have the term insurance underwriting grid. And then this is the client worksheet that we fill out with every single person. Nothing matters until you fill that client worksheet out. That tells you what the situation is, so we know what to do. So we're going to be deep diving into that on next week's episode. In the meantime, just your mission this week is to get your transition down to where you feel confident whenever you jump on. You can set the tone, you can set the table, and you can have them at ease because they understand what's going to be happening, and go ahead and remove some of those objections right from the gate. So love catching up with you guys. The national call is about to start in 10 minutes. Let's leverage this call. Let's push it out to everybody. There's a lot of people stuck at home right now looking for a way to make some extra money. I've never seen anything like this before. I don't even know where does this even exist. Maybe in the 80s, with stockbrokers could sit around on the phone and make this kind of money. I don't know of anything else you can do this, where you can sit here and make phone calls in front of your desk and make thousands and thousands of dollars instant deposited into your bank account. There's a lot of people that this can help. So I would learn to leverage these conference calls, like the one coming up where they're going to hear all the numbers, real numbers for the week. They're going to hear, different people in the country making moves. Leverage these things. Get 4 or 5 people on the call and just show them real life. Like, I'm just a big fan of real life. This is what we're working on. These are literally the people that we're in business with. This is how we operate. This is how we communicate. And they can get on and do a gut check with themselves and say, hey, are these the type of people I want to be in business with or not? So learn to leverage all these things that are happening that you're not having to pay for. Real quick before we go, does anybody else have a quick question you want to squeeze in?
I have something, Nate. I just want to recognize a few people on our team. We got Pete going out there in this crisis, putting in some activity. We had Jerry. He's about to be an official writer with Equus. So congratulations, Jerry, Polly, for getting out there. He's been moving fast. I got some other fast movers that I've been talking to. We'll see if we can continue the momentum. But yeah, guys, just press down and don't stop. And decide what you want and be willing to fight for it.
All right, guys. Well, happy Friday. Happy Friday. Download, be sure to get everything out of the comments and access all the resources. Really play with that promotional guideline. Be thinking in your head about, okay, well, if so-and-so were to write this amount of business, or if I had 2 or 3 more writing agents, really draw that out and understand it. Understand the spreads. Sit there with a white piece of paper and draw out, right, this is what my business could look like in the next 6 months. And we'll help you talk to people, whatever we need to do to take this thing to the next level. So, hey, enjoyed catching up with you guys this morning. Looking forward to next week. Let's have a big weekend, finish strong, and we will talk to you soon. Have a great one.